Velkommen til et nytt program fra Israelkanalen. I dag skal vi ta dere med til Israel, hvor vi var på tur og fikk omvisning på en del prosjekter som vi støtter fra Israelkanalen. Alle disse prosjektene som finnes rundt omkring er viktige, og også dette med etiopierne er en stor budsjettpost på immigrasjonsprogrammet. Vi ble med Keren Hayesod. Det er en organisasjon som drives av den israelske staten, og som har ansvaret for all innvandring av jøder til Israel. De etiopiske jødene de har en lang vei å gå, som sagt. 2000 års kulturforskjell. Dette senteret som vi besøker nå, det ligger like utenfor Jerusalem, på en høyde som heter Mevaseret Sion. Og der er det en ganske stor etiopisk koloni. Vi besøkte barnehaven, og der er det utrolig hva som foregår av lek og sang og musikk, og ungene de virker veldig veltilpasset. Rundt omkring på senteret så er det småhus hvor familier bor, og de har også sin egen lille åkerlapp hvor de kan dyrke grønnsaker. Det er forsamlingssaler i et stort bygg der, og det foregår da undervisning på det helt dagligdagse planet, og helt opp til hebraisk undervisning og computerundervisning. Så det er strevsomt å være ny immigrant, men det er masse frivillige som gjør en kjempeinnsats. Så bare se og kos deg, og så håper jeg du blir inspirert.
I want to start back at the beginning. So when do we discover there are Jews living in Africa? About the turn of the century. When all the sort of converting is going on in Africa, we send somebody from the Jewish community to see what's going on. And we see that there are a group of people there keeping biblical law. Literally, it says in the Bible, you shall not burn a flame in your camps on the Sabbath, and these people are keeping it. And so we see that there is a connection, right? We know that they're keeping the same laws. Now, they're not keeping holidays like Purim and Hanukkah, which come way after the writing of the Torah, because they've obviously been separated from the Jewish people before then. So I'm going to fast forward many years. We keep in touch with this community over time. State of Israel is established in 1948. In 1971, the chief rabbinate says, okay, it's time to bring these people here. Jewish agency, you are in charge of Aliyah. Let's do it. So how can we do Aliyah at that time? Only secretly. So the Jews then begin, the Mossad shows up in their villages and said, okay, if you can get to the Sudan, we'll give you a ride to Israel. And so the community starts going secretly through the hills of Ethiopia to the Sudanese border. It's a treacherous journey, as I'm sure you know. They can only travel at night. It's very dangerous. There's bandits, and if they get arrested by the Ethiopian authorities for trying to leave, they're in trouble. So the villages begin to hear about this, and as you know, the whole foundation of their lives is based around Jerusalem. Everyone talks about Jerusalem. They wake up, one day we'll get to Jerusalem, one day we'll get to Jerusalem. So the moment they hear they have a way to get to Jerusalem, they're going. So many of them end up in the Sudan. Now, as you know, this culminates November 1984 to January 1985. This culminates in what we call Operation Moses, where thousands and thousands are airlifted by the Mossad until all Sudan's friendly neighbors hear about it and say, what are you doing? You need to shut this down. You can't be helping Jews escape to Israel. So here we are in 1985, right? So a lot of the communities made it, but half of the community's still back in Ethiopia. Now they are moving at this point from their villages to the big city in Addis. Why? For some reason, they believe if they get to Addis, to where the Israeli embassy is, they'll get closer to Israel. What's going on in Ethiopia at the time? Mengistu is in power. He's a communist leader. And he wants to maintain his power, but there are rebel armies that are fighting him. And he says, okay, Israel, I have something you want. If you'll trade me arms, I'll give you this Jewish population that he now knows is assembling in Addis. Israel's thinking about it, but our friend the United States says, you're not making deals with communists. No way this is happening. So we're trying to get Jews out any way we can, and it's very difficult. And the Jews, meanwhile, keep coming and pouring into Addis Ababa. By 1990, we have 20,000 Jews living in Addis Ababa. We can't provide for them. You know, there's rainy season and dry season. During rainy season, it's very not healthy to be living outside in these tents, and we're trying to do everything we can. Mengistu is absolutely losing his war. Rebels are moving in from the north, and everything is coming right to the center into Addis. He says the Israeli government and the North American Jewish community, or the Jewish communities from around the world, say, okay, we can do this, we have one shot, and we make an agreement. We'll pay the price of one plane ticket per person. We arrive at the sum of $35 million. We make the exchange. May 24th, 25th, 1991, Operation Solomon. Within the course of 36 hours, 14,310 Jews arrive here in Israel. So that was a pretty exciting chapter in history. So however, the late 90s, we discover that there are relatives of Jews left in Ethiopia. We call them the Falashmura. We do a census in 1999, and we find that number is at 30,000. 30,000 people saying they have first-degree relatives in Israel and they need to be reunited. Obviously, Aliyah is based on the government of Israel when they say, yes, these people are eligible for Aliyah, and when they say they are not eligible for Aliyah. The Jewish agency serves as the arm of the government. We help them in this Aliyah process, although it's important to say that the government makes the decision as to who's able to. With stops and starts, I'm proud to say that on August 28th, 2013, we have completed the historic Aliyah. This list, the last list of 30,000, is completed. Which brings us to where we are today. And this is sort of chronological, arriving in Israel and then arriving here. There are 17 absorption centers in Israel run by the Jewish Agency for Ethiopians. So we find ourselves very lucky today. Here we are in this upper middle class neighborhood in this beautiful day, and we have 1,200 Ethiopians living in this absorption center.
How many?
1,200 here in this one. But they're spread all around the country, from Eilat all the way up to Tzfat. But these, first of all, they're lucky because this is a very nice neighborhood. So when you're integrated into a really nice neighborhood, your kids are going to school with other, nice kids from nice families, and it's a real positive. This is also the closest absorption center to Jerusalem. As I said, everyone dreams of their return to Jerusalem. Well, these people can hop on a bus and they're going to be there in 15 minutes. It's not as easy if you're in Tzfat. So they're very lucky in that sense. So what do we do here in the absorption centers? First of all, in the first year, everyone goes through a return to Judaism class to actually convert to Judaism, because as you know, the people who were in Ethiopia since 1992 need to go through a conversion. They also need to learn Hebrew. We have Ulpan classes here. Everyone must go to an Ulpan in their first year and learn Hebrew. Some have much more success than others, but most people leave here speaking really fluent Hebrew. In the second year you're here, you are learning about finding a house. How do you find a house? How do you move on? How do you transition? How do you find a job? And basic skill training. We also have sort of Western classes, right? How do you feed your kids in the West? How do you dress? How do you deal with your family? There is a potential for the full breakdown of the family here. In Ethiopia, the man is the head of the family. He has the job. He has the money. Here, it's not going to be that way. You get here, your kids are already speaking Hebrew, they're talking back to you, they're the ones communicating with the teacher. So we really focus on keeping the family structure in order, giving the father, the head of the family, the pride that he would have felt back in Ethiopia. Although different, pride is a huge thing, and self-confidence. That is one of the key focuses here is self-confidence, all the tools that would create to bring success, whether it's excellence in computers or gymnastics or whatever it may be. We try to give it to these kids here. And this is obviously a partnership with the government of Israel and all of our partners throughout the world, Keren Hayesod, and Jewish communities and Christian communities around the world. That makes it possible. Think about the range of things we can provide here. Whether it's in Ethiopia, how do you put out, you were in Ethiopia, so you know, how do you put out a fire there? Pour water on it, right? When you get here, if you pour water on your gas stove, that would be very difficult. So the people here, Jan Shambel, who just walked in the room, these are the people who spent every day with them, trying to show them how to come up to speed. I want you to take a look at the picture on the wall there. I mean, you've been to Ethiopia, I don't need to tell you. It's rural, it is, there's no running water, there's no electricity, there's no plumbing. When you arrive here, you're expected to come up to speed very quickly.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yes, it's hard to forget, right?
Hard to forget.
I still remember the sights and smells. Don't you think about that? I smell something, it'll bring me back to a market in Ethiopia, and amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's another way of life.
Making that transition is very difficult. One of the most important things we are doing today, and we've learned our lesson in the 90s. If you came over in the 90s, we would say to you, you know what, your name is no longer Jan Shambel, let's call you Yaakov. That's much easier. Today, if you go into a kindergarten here, you'll see all the kids' names are the same as they are. They're the Ethiopian names. We want them to be proud of their heritage. We, instead of saying, okay, here's the way you make challah, you know, you braid it, we say, no, how do you make challah in your home? It looks different in everyone's cultures. So today we're really celebrating culture. When in the classrooms we'll be playing Ethiopian music, and that has really added to the success of their assimilation into the, or acculturation to this, because we're no longer saying you need to be Israeli. We're saying you can be an Ethiopian Israeli. And that has really proven to help. And we really believe we have this 2-year window here in this absorption center. This is what we can do here with a lot of help from our friends around the world. We are able to make a difference here, and so that by the time they leave here, they're ready to join society. Imagine coming 1,000 years in just the span of 2 years. It's really amazing.
It's amazing.
So that's what we're able to do here, and it's a 24-hour-a-day job. I mean, you can imagine Jan Shambel's asked 24 hours a day to help with this or that, or how do I change a light bulb? How do I pay my electric bill?
How long are they staying in this center?
Ethiopians stay here 2 years.
Okay.
So, and then no one's pushed out, but we get them ready for the point at the end of 2 years, they have to be ready to go.
When they are searching for a house, do they get help? Economic help?
So of course they get economic help because they don't have jobs while they're here. You can see here there's apartments. This is not like a dormitory. We're not serving dinner. They're going out and going to the supermarket and learning how to buy their own food. We don't believe in, not pushing them out there to make it. I mean, obviously we have staff who help them, and we'll walk around and we'll show you a little bit how we do it. Yeah. But I live in this neighborhood personally. So for instance, at the mall across the street, there are Ethiopians shopping with me every day, and all of us help them. This is the change you should be getting. That's a 50. You should be getting back 20 shekels for that. Or, the community really embraces them. I'll tell you, my kids go to school up the street, and I feel very close to the Ethiopian community because I've been to Ethiopia so many times, and I am shocked. All the parents in the school love to help. They bring in donations. My kids come to the kindergartens here all the time to volunteer and to do things together. It's a very warm community, very welcoming of the population. And this is really a key to success again in the country.
15 years ago. Okay, first of all, welcome to our center.
Yeah.
My name is Nishamba. I was born in Ethiopia in a small village. My home was like this.
Yeah?
Yeah, like this, just like this. It hasn't.
Do you miss it?
What?
Do you miss it?
No. My country is here.
Okay. No, because one
So
always
that's,
longing back to the childhood, or
all Ethiopia choose, vision in Israel, our lands. Ethiopia, it's not our lands. So we dreams every day and pray about Jerusalem, our lands.
very good.
So, Lamrot,
even though, despite the fact,
we born like this in Ethiopia, so we feel here our country.
So when did you arrive here? When did you arrive here in Israel?
Okay. First of all, when I was born in Ethiopia, I was support. I helped by the culture. Ethiopia the culture, not like modern society. It's very different. It has technology there. Only working, to oxen and working by food. It hasn't supermarket. Working in field and eating vegetables. Here everything is
preserved packages, like it's all packaged foods.
so it's very different. Half family came in 1984 by Operation Moses.
Okay.
And in 90 after Operation Solomon was 1991. At 1992 came whole family. I stayed in capital city Addis Ababa. I started learning there. Finished high school. I came just in 1998, 16 years ago. I was in a proof center in Norsk part near Naharia. The first time, everything is new. I didn't know how to using by gas, toilet, how to turn water. In Ethiopia, bring water from river. It's a very big gap. We don't know how to turn off electricity. So it's very the first time very difficult. The step by step, young people learning something new. So I started to learn Hebrew 10 months. After 10 months in college, some coursing I learned. After that, I decided myself. I know that two cultures, Israel cultures and Ethiopian culture, language, and mentalities. Both mentalities I know. So I need to work with this community. I need to teaching. I need to guide. So 18 years ago, I started to work here. My job here, guide, teaching, how to cross in the road. In Ethiopia, it hasn't many roads, only many donkeys, and
bike riders, people on bikes. And
sometimes moving from place to place on foot, without shoes. So when they come here, many cars, traffic light, everything is
rules. With regulations.
So we teaching them this
clubhouse.
We teaching them here and how to using my marketing. We have a mock store. We teaching them how to doing shopping. We have library and homework class. Computer class. The first time learning here, we teaching them and how to cleaning the house. The
So there's somebody responsible for overseeing each household, so that they're making sure that everyone is, again, not pouring water on the gas, not drinking the little lemon seal on, a bottle of cleaner. There's a lemon. That might be lemon juice, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not lemon juice. You can't give this to your kids.
When the first time when meeting in an airport, they shocking. So we explain them. Okay, we help you. Don't worry, don't shocking. So step by step, you can to learn the new life. So everything changing, and this is a big challenge.
But it must be interesting also to manage. It must be
מאוד מעניין לך
satisfying to manage.
Yeah, this very, very satisfaction.
Have you learned to drive a car?
Yes, I have a car. I drive a car. So before, I drive.
He would literally drive it. He would be driving a donkey, riding a donkey, or riding a horse.
Yes.
I said there's no huge difference.
אבל יש גם נהגי אוטובוסים, אחרי 3 שנים, נהגי אוטובוסים למדו, אמרנו להם, לא יכולו ללמוד.
So actually this is an interesting thing. One of the projects that the Jewish Agency has, again with the help of our partners from around the world, is we have vocational classes. So one of the things that we've taught people to do is to be a bus driver. So he's saying not only do people come here and ride cars, we've taught them to drive buses within the span of 3 years. So going from donkey rider to bus driver here in Israel is a pretty big jump.
So young people, success, just every day, and helping, supporting, guide. So young people success, and I have a cousin. She's lawyer. She has office in Jerusalem. Many young people have teachers, doctors.
So we have 2 parliament members, 2 members of Knesset today that are Ethiopian, both of whom worked for the Jewish Agency at one point, I should say. And the communities, what he's saying is the community is very proud of our successes. He has lawyers and doctors and officers and just amazing successes that these people are able to achieve.
I visited a data computer fabric factory in Herzliya. You remember? And there were so many young Ethiopians working there, and I never forget it.
Amazing opportunity.
They were so integrated. And that was only young people. And for me, it was an adventure.
That's right. So on my last trip to Ethiopia, he's saying that, in fact, the ambassador to Ethiopia is an Ethiopian-born Israeli woman who moved here actually in the 80s, and then now she's the ambassador to Ethiopia. But you know what's even better about it? She is the only Ethiopian-born ambassador to Ethiopia from another country, not just Israeli. So she's really our success story. And we went with her last year to her hometown of Ambover. I'm sure if you were in Ethiopia, you were in Ambover. Do you remember the place with the synagogue and the star? And she's from that town, where all the children are. And she's like, that was supposed to be, that was me when I was little. And now look at this, I'm an ambassador of the country of Israel to Ethiopia. It's amazing. He said, look, none of this comes easily. This means that the people who arrive here need to work really hard. They need to invest in their own, assimilation into this country. It's not easy just to get off and be successful. All the success stories are hard work. So he said, the assimilation process looks different for all the different age groups. When you're very young, you get the age, you get the language very quickly, you have the will to. However, for the older generations, it's much harder to learn a new language when you get older. It's much harder to find employment when you're used to, riding the donkeys and plowing. To go and work in a post office is not a likely transition. So he says, for the older people, it's much more difficult. So one of the things that we do here, and this is worth saying, the elderly in Ethiopia, first of all, are like the kings of the community, right? They work, and then by the age of 40 or something, they're already in the elderly category, and their kids work, and they get to relax. And they sit outside all day with friends. Well, imagine they come here, and they get put in this building, in this house. They're not with their friends anymore all day. They're not sitting outside. They're not enjoying things. So we try to create an environment here, again, to preserve the structure of what the fundamental values of their life in Ethiopia. So we have a workshop we're going to see in a minute where the elderly get gathered together and they get to do sort of artwork together. And they sell it, and it's beautiful, and they make money, and it gives them a sense of self-worth. in addition to being social. So they sit with their friends, they're not sitting alone, and it's wonderful. And so he said they're just making some projects for Purim now, you know, the holiday that we're celebrating on Sunday of this week. So if you'd like to come take a look, we'd love to show it to you.
Ja, nå har vi vært der, og nå har du sett. Og dette her bare ett av mange sentre for etiopiske innvandrere. Det finnes over hele landet, og det finnes også sentre for innvandrere fra andre deler av verden. Og det klart de har sine egne behov. De har sin egen kunst, for eksempel, og den får de lov til å drive. Og det arbeidsstuer, hvor kvinnene særlig kan sitte og male og lage ting. Og det opplæring i jordbruk, i snekkerarbeid. Og selvfølgelig det da mange av disse etiopierne som ender opp i dataindustrien. De særlig dyktige på alt som har med datavirksomhet å gjøre. Og det veldig imponerende å se hvor langt de kan komme bare på et år kanskje i et sånt senter. Så la deg inspirere. Og som sagt, vi med og støtter disse sentrene for tilpassning av Etiopia til Israel.